Welcome to the Empowered Entrepreneur Show. Discover your life's purpose, reprogram your mind for success, and attract an abundance of paying clients to your business. Now, here's your host, Tom Tenaglia.
Aloha, Empowered Entrepreneur. I am Tom Tenaglia, and you're listening to the Empowered Entrepreneur Show. And today I want to talk about an idea that, well, it's continuing along the process of attracting our ideal clients, of course. And this idea is really getting into the mindset of a customer and essentially a repeat customer. You know, when I would read sales letters, if the idea was so generic, I would often not buy the product because I would think the solution or the answer was generic or something that I was already familiar with. And for sophisticated markets, that can be an issue. Likewise, I bought basic products that had somewhat specific of sales pages and then realized that the solutioning in the product was quite basic. I've also bought products that had a reasonable attempt at a solution, but didn't frame it in a way that got me to really devour and appreciate the information. And so I looked at all of these and I'm like, okay, these are all things that I'm not going to buy more from these people. And it got me to realize that it was because none of them actually helped me get a result. None of them were teaching or sharing things that I hadn't already heard. Unless they were all, and these are different types of offers. Unless they were all focusing on people that were early on in the stage, then fine. Like if that's the case, then that's fine. However, they all had higher end offers that they wanted to sell, and the problem was that they weren't giving enough value in the lower end offer to justify the higher end offer. How would I know that they could deliver the higher end offer if I don't even know the knowledge that they have? See, the more knowledge that you're giving people and the more they can do something with it, the more likely they are to just pay you to do it, in my opinion, because they know that you know you can do it and you've already done it. So the people that were giving basic explanations of certain things, I have no confidence that they actually know anything more than what they just provided. Whereas the people who gave more detailed explanations and the mindset that went into it and a number of things that cater to sophisticated markets, it really got me to realize, well, wait a minute, I might just want to hire them to do this, or I might just want to work with them in a certain capacity, or I might want to see what other offers that they have. You know, because you basically, you have to think through what's going to want the client to continue to engage with you. And it's going to be if they continue to get value from what it is you're providing. What do they need to know, you know, in order to realize that what you have is what's right for them? Because people don't know how astrology can help solve all the problems it can solve. But if I explain from the problem perspective and lead them toward astrology as the solution, they begin to understand. Right? So then if I help them get a result from that astrology, now they want to know how else they can apply astrology. However, it does take time to build up the information that leads to them going and saying, oh, okay, I can use my astrology to help with this. That's why I want to get that information to them sooner, early on, and in a way that helps them implement the astrology for a result. That's why the avatarattraction.com book is so important, because it's showing a tangible application of astrology for attracting your ideal partner. Okay? I mean, so, you know, when I look at Do I want to buy more from it? I mean, gosh, I'm on email lists and I can't even tell you the number of times I just don't even bother. Like their email might have motivated me to want to check out the offer, but if I bought something from them before and it didn't help me and it was so basic and it was just not worth it, then I'm going to just naturally discount the rest of their offers because they hype up the marketing and then they underdeliver. Versus a company who underpromises in the marketing and overdelivers in the product or service. They just go, I got this new thing. You might want it, you might not. Whatever, here's the link. I go buy that. If it's a company that over-delivers on the back end, I'm buying it with the most subtle of sales messaging. It's so interesting because some people they'll promote the sales messaging so much. They'll like hype it up. And they're like, why do I have to keep hyping it up? It's because what you're delivering on the back end doesn't really live up to this. And therefore, you need to keep hyping up the front end messaging. But I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that approach. I agree with minimizing hype and truly just saying what it is that your thing does, matching where people are at, helping them take a step forward, and then over delivering on the back end such that they go, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I bought this. This is really helping. What else does this guy have? And then what happens is the simplest of sales messages turn into sales. Hey, I put out a new course. You might want it, you might not. There were products that I bought that I didn't need, but I bought because I just wanted to support the person who made it. And I'm just like, you know what? I just like what this guy does. This is one of his products. I don't really need it. Not really going to use it. But I want to encourage him to keep producing because everything he makes is really, really good. Therefore, I'm just going to buy it. I've done stuff like that. And it's like, as a customer, I'm like, wow. And see, the other thing is in what category are you operating in, right? So I'll also see marketing messages from people and they're saying, well, we're having a conference and at the conference and they're naming the speakers and the speakers are either people I've never heard of or people that are like the top of the top in an industry. And in either case, it's like in the case of people I don't know, it's why would I listen to them? And in the case of people that it's the top of the industry, it's like, well, are you only like, if that's the level you're playing, well, they have the finances and they have the resources and they have content creators and they have all these people. I'm like, what they're going to say to me doesn't make any sense. It's not going to make any sense because they've built an empire, so to speak, that somebody just getting started isn't going to be able to build. So like they don't cover the why listen to these other names you haven't heard of before, and they don't cover the how are the people who are well known in the industry going to be able to help the newcomer. And then the marketing falls flat. Because it's still hype. It's still like, oh, well, listen to this person who blah, blah, blah. No. Because they're so far away from the result. Right? So it's so funny because I find myself, I get emails from people, on mailing lists and, it comes down to, I'm not even going to look at the offer. I'm not even going to buy this. I'm not even going to, because I bought one thing or two things and it fell flat. It didn't help. Or I signed up for a free challenge or a free whatever, and they put out 3 hours of content for each day for a week, and most of it is just hypey stuff, and then they put 20 minutes of basics, but then I already bought a VIP package that included those basics and more. And I'm like, but I have no confidence that you're going to be able to deliver more than this. I don't know that they can actually do it. And that's a huge one that prospects run up against. So you have to think about, what is it that clients need to know? One, to understand your offer, but actually it's to understand the 3 whys. They need to understand why you, why the offer, and why now. And that's why, when I wrote this book at, avatarattraction.com, it's to help people understand how you can use the energy in the universe to manifest your ideal partner and how to layer on the astrology to do that. And it helps people step through that process. Generally, it's written for people who are somewhat familiar with the idea of the law of attraction. Right? So I didn't explain with excruciating detail why astrology works, but I did explain the basics of why astrology works. So, and that book is all designed to give the thinking behind it and to help the person get a result. Then they start seeing changes in their dating life that lead them closer to their ideal partner. They either find their ideal partner, or they start seeing that it's possible, and then they either want more help, or they do find their ideal partner and they want help now with the next step, like cultivating the relationship. So they want help nonetheless. Or they find their partner and they just go, oh my God, this was the greatest book ever. Like, the simplest process in the most cost-effective way, it just got me this most amazing person in my life. And any of those are perfect for me. Because I kept thinking, well, I need to strategically explain how this process actually is going to get them what it is they need. And then I realized, well, I might as well just put it in a book. Because a common option in this space is a course, okay? And if I had made a course, I would have to charge more for it, because people don't usually buy courses that are just a couple of dollars, because it actually looks like, wait a minute, why would this really great course be a couple of dollars? But a book can be a few dollars, or it can even be $29 or whatever the case is. And it could, it's actually great. Like, a book that's a $5 book isn't going to look like it doesn't sound cheap. It actually sounds reasonable. But a $5 course actually sounds cheap. Like, it sounds like, wait a minute, what's the catch? And yet, in a course, you'd have to explain the same things. But I'd rather just take the content, put in a book, charge something where people don't go, what's the catch? Because there isn't any. And then those who read the book are actually closer to who I want in my business anyway, because they are reading. They are taking the time to dive into helping and growing and solving problems in their life, okay? So I take these things and put them into a book, and then that generates the leads, right? So people have also been burned by quite a few courses. There's been a number of books that I think people are just like, But for the most part, people that read books usually get some value out of it. Therefore, I'd rather do that. Plus, books take longer to produce. As weird as it is, I mean, courses are generally easier to produce. If you haven't produced a course and a book, you do it. The books can take longer. And so it's interesting, because one of the courses I bought, where the guys were trying to sell it into a larger program, they even mentioned in the course there was a video that said, when you go back and read the book, yada yada, here's what to pay attention to. And there was a comment in the video, or below the video or somewhere, that said, we pivoted from doing a book to actually just making more videos. And I'm looking at it going, I think they made a mistake there. Plus, they didn't even edit the video to just say video. Like, it just looks like it was just done, without attention to detail of sorts. So I opt to put in the effort to produce the book, which solves my client's problem and really takes what the knowledge they need and gives it to them. And then they want to do business with me further. And that's what I would recommend for you. think through what it is that you need your leads to understand so that they realize why what it is you're offering is the right fit for them. So why you, why the offer, why now? Put that into a book and really help them get a result with that book. And that would be my recommendation. Because then from that process, they learn what it is that justifies working with you. And they've gotten a result working with you through your book. And they realize that, well, shoot, if they got this from the book, what else can they get from working with you further? Okay? So I would strongly encourage you to take the time to think through what are the things that your ideal customer needs to know about you, your product, your service, and why they should have it now. And then what result can they get so far? Help them get that result. Help them do that through a book. Okay, and then take that further. And if you want help with that, email me, support@empoweredentrepreneursshow.com, and we can find some time. And with that, aloha, hui hou. I'll talk with you again soon. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Empowered Entrepreneur Show.